Are your boys coming? They said they were.
Steve, did Steve say he was? I know had another Zoom thing.
Okay. They did. They commented the other night that of course they would be here.
Oh, very good. Oh yeah, this will be interesting because they may choose to chime in.
Well, they're good boys. That will be just fine.
They are. We're blessed and we're proud.
So welcome. Good morning, everybody. I'm actually tickled this morning. Judy and I were texting last night, and I won't disclose what.
Thank you.
What text correct happened, but it was hilarious. And in addition to that, and just making me laugh heartily, you said something, and you, to me, had the perfect words for it, which is, I dig your soul. And I dig your soul. And which is why I asked you to come on here, and thank you for saying yes. I don't even remember when I first actually met you. Like Dan and Mary Harker, I stalked you for a long time because you just have such an incredible loving energy. You want to be around it.
Thank you.
And I know that you've had quite the history in Kansas City and pretty much have established an empire, right?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing.
So I'd like you to tell the group a little bit about your story.
Okay. First of all, I'm so honored y'all are on this one, especially. When you figure that Ashley sandwiched me in between Mo Anderson, Harkers, Mo Anderson, Diana, and then Brenda Benson tomorrow, I figured y'all needed me for some comic relief. So here we go. Meanwhile, Ashley, I want to thank you because with all the Zooms that were going on, and I just got zoomed out really quickly, but you chose to lead a place called the Heart Space. And that was a total another kind of Zoom presentation. And so you've been on my schedule every day at 1 o'clock. We go on forever. Anyway, my story. So understand that I am married to a coach, and I actually asked him out on our first date, and but he asked me to marry him, so it all worked out. Meanwhile, the coach's salary does not support sending 2 sons to college. In fact, we got paid once a month. At the end of 3 weeks, it did not support a lot. So I knew for him to follow his passion, I had to choose to do something. I was an educator by training, and so I did a little substituting, but then it kept coming to me, be a realtor, be a realtor. So I went to school. I failed the test the first time, and that's why I give, looking back at my career, I see all the little things that can give encouragement to others. It's okay if you fail the test the first time. It doesn't matter. You're going to be successful, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, moving forward, my guys, and we laugh about this all the time. In fact, Dave and I laughed about it this morning. This was pre-internet, pre-everything. We'd come back from a weekend seeing my parents, and we'd stop in. I said, I'll be out in 5 minutes. I'm just going to go grab the little sweet pink slips with all the messages. And an hour or so later, I come back. They swore they would never, 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 ever, ever, ever be a realtor. So looking back now, 25 plus years for both of them, yeah, you never say never. Anyway, moving forward, I ended up at Prudential Somerset Burroughs, and great place to be. We were their top agent the majority of the 16 years I was there, until Rich called me into his office one day and said, Prudential International has asked me what I'm doing with you. Well, realtors know everything, so they knew we were talking to Gary. So at the end of the conversation, he said, in your heart of hearts, he knows I lead from my heart, is this something that you want to do with Keller Williams? And I looked him straight in the eye without blinking. I said, no, it's something we absolutely have to do. We have to bring this opportunity to the agents in Kansas City. It's that simple. He said, then you can be gone by Monday. And that was Memorial Day weekend. Wow. So we really scrambled. And so on June 8, 99, Coach and I drove 9 licenses to Topeka to open Keller Williams. So meanwhile, I had been in communication with Gary, and so I called. Gary was on vacation, so I talked to Mo Anderson. You can imagine my heart stopping on this one. And I told Mo what had happened. I said, Mo, we can do this, can't we? Dead silence. And I'm going, oh my gosh, now what are we going to do? And she said yes. And so we jumped hoops. So think about it, starting with 9 agents, which was our team, totally out of model, and especially now. And so even though the newspaper promoted us and so on, understand that the Midwest in general personality is very conservative. And it was like, we'll just watch you and see what happens. So we had, this was June, in our heart, we wanted 100 agents by December. Well, that didn't happen. And my friends
That's an aggressive goal. That's a
I
home
know,
run
it
launch in
was.
a 12-month period.
I know. Well, we just knew it was so great. Everybody would want to jump right in and join us, Oh my. Well, interestingly enough, 4 years prior, Royal Sergeant had come to town and met with me and some other agents that I brought to the party. But I couldn't do it by myself. But with the guys, now mind you, I have a degree in secondary education mathematics major. My sons have business degrees. And Steve has said that his minor in psychology has helped him more than the business degree in all these years. But nonetheless,
By
that's
the way,
how.
I just saw Dave jumped on.
Oh, good. Hi, Dave. So meanwhile, there we go. There was 9 of us, and it was a struggle. We hired a team leader. Well, we went through several. Let's just put it that way. But Gary coached us for 3 years, and every Monday was my 411 call, and we faxed the 411 to him. And I missed one time, and our agents love to tell this story. And he said, Judy, where's your 411? I said, Gary, I've just been so busy, I didn't get it to you. He said, we have nothing to talk about. Hung up on me. And so it was a great lesson. It was a great lesson. I love the man. He's, amazing mentor, as we all know. So we struggled. Our MCA at the time would come to me every month. God bless the Johns family team in our business. We were doing over 40 million. And, that was like 240 transactions, typically several years in a row. Then he would come to me and say, Judy, I need $20,000. So I would be writing checks every month, $20,000, $20,000. Coach and I went through our savings, which there wasn't a lot. And Steve, one month, put a second mortgage on his house to get us through the month. I mean, it just went on and on like this. Our family agreed that we would never all give up at the same time.
Oh, what a great agreement.
Yeah. And there was times probably each one of us thought, what are we doing? But we just had this vision that Kansas City was going to love Keller Williams. And we had this vision of over 500 agents. Even then, we just knew this could happen. So step by step, we were over $333,000 in debt, which now doesn't seem so much. At the time, felt insurmountable. And as we crawled out of that on April 2002, it was like, yay, team, on it. And we moved forward and haven't looked back since, except in gratitude. And I think gratitude for the model, gratitude for Gary's persistence, and gratitude also to Mo for establishing the culture. But there was less than 5,000 agents in Keller Williams when he joined. And now there's over 2,000 in Kansas City. And
wow.
then it just branched out from there, to Wichita. Dave's got Topeka, Omaha, all of that. It's just been the most beautiful thing to unfold. And whenever I see or talk to any of the agents in our heartland, I look at them and I say, we did this for you. We didn't know you at the time. You weren't even born, but we did this for you. So there you go. Out of the 11 people in our family, 8 of us are licensed.
That I didn't know all of that. And that is pretty amazing. $330,000 in debt at any time is a lot, obviously. And this was the early 2000s. So it was kind of meant, it was even more back then, right?
It was a lot.
And it only took you 3 years to crawl out of that?
Yeah.
And I'm sure at times it seemed like decades, right? Yeah. When you're carrying that much weight. What got you through?
Well, it was, I don't like the word stubborn. I'll choose the word perseverance and persistence. And we just had this undying faith and knowing. I like to use the word, I had the knowing that this was going to happen. And it would just take more time. I don't say this boastingly, but I was file compliance, I was broker, I was OP, sometimes I was team leader, I was a mega agent, I was listing, I was working with buyers, whatever else I could do. And that also, I think, achieved the first cancer, which is, and I also got, it starts with an S, whatever it is. Anyway, all over my face. Anyway, the thing you
Well,
get it.
well, that's an interesting segue. So,
Yeah.
and that was one thing Diana wanted to share yesterday, and she forgot to, which was we were talking about fear, and she said, make sure they realize it will cause cancer. Fear will make you sick in ways. So when you said all that work, that overwork caused your first cancer.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely a result of the stress and my diet.
Oh,
And,
we're a great, as realtors, are you kidding?
yeah, well, it's McDonald's drive-through for a large Diet Coke with cherry in it, and one of those stupid little hamburgers is probably mostly sugar. A diet doesn't help the body either. So anyway, that was kind of the start of it, and we rose, and as my sons grew in leadership, and they were on the ALC, and it just, our ALC, that was another interesting piece that happened. Our ALC decided, well, we'll open a market center. And so these two went this way and these two went that way. And so we were always working to rebuild the bench and draw in more people. And, in fact, one agent, she was number one at a competitive company. When she finally joined us at their first reunion, she said, I am so mad at you. And I said, why? Why didn't you make me do this sooner? So one guy who is now, I would call him broker extraordinaire, literally, I took hold of his shoulders one day and shook him. I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you get over here? He claims I'm the reason that his shoulder hurts, but I don't care. He would never leave. So, yeah, that's our story.
When you were here, I don't know if it was when you were here or when I saw you at reunion, you were going on a trip, you and Coach, I think we're going to Florida, and you, I believe we're having a recruiting meeting.
Well, we went to Hawaii. Yeah, everywhere we go.
Still, like this year.
Oh yeah, we went, typically after reunion, we like to go on a little vacation somewhere. Yeah, we went to Key West a year ago. Yeah, I recruit everywhere.
Wow. Yeah. Haven't you done enough?
Never, because there's so many people that need to be with us. We met a guy on the beach. We went to the beach to see the sunset, and we're talking to his parents, and I looked at him and I said, have you ever considered real estate as a career? Well, I do kind of like real. Let me connect you. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
And I brought that up kind of in that way because that's who you are. You are such a generous giver. And I don't think you think about it in terms of recruiting. You're really introducing somebody to an opportunity that can transform their lives. And I think we're coming into a time where so many industries are going to be downsized.
Yes.
We, I believe, have a responsibility to get really good with that conversation.
It's easy. It's just easy. And I've found that so many people are seeking and searching. And when it's been put in the back of their head, I look at it like a spiritual Holy Spirit connection. And like, I just showed up for them as the vessel.
I love that. I love that. So go back, and I don't know if you're purposefully avoiding it or not, but being a business owner, having a real estate team, being a great wife and a great mom, all that stuff going on, and now you've got cancer.
Yeah.
Does everything stop and you just get to focus on treatment and getting through it? Or do you have to figure out how to put it all together?
No, I said, just take the lump out and let's go on. It's always like, next. It's one of my favorite 4-letter words. Next to love and sold. I love sold. That's a good 4-letter word too. It was the next incident that I went, we were at Jace's, at Steve's son's baseball games in St. Louis, and I was having this horrible pain. And finally I said, Ken, take me to the emergency room. And we were at Barnes, which is a fabulous hospital. And she came out and she said, well, you've got diverticulitis, but by the way, you have a cancer in your left kidney. And I flippantly looked at her and I said, that's okay, I have another one. So I'm a one kidney person, and every day I thank my kidney, thank you for doing such a great job. I'm so grateful for you, So then the next one, this is funny. Mammogram in September 25th. And then we went to reunion and I said, let's go to Cabo. So we're in Cabo and I feel a lump. This is February 25th. I felt a lump. And so this is why I encourage people, and this is guys too, a mammogram does not tell all, but that self-exam on a monthly, thank you, you're shaking your head, a monthly basis can really reveal. And of course, I didn't tell Coach while we were there, and came back and called my OBGYN friend. And he said, Judy, I predict it's okay. But at the end of the day, there were 3 different ones on the right side and 2 different ones on the left side that, and they said I was blessed because it was next to the skin. So I'm thinking, well, hey, this is great news. I don't really need these at my age. And I could do a 10-minute comedy routine on how great it is not to have boobs. So anyway.
And your flat hugs.
Yeah, I can get much closer now. Oh my.
Awesome. And that wasn't that long ago. And that was 2.5 years ago?
That was a year ago. Yeah, I chose the date of June 14th for the surgery. I said, that's Flag Day. I'm getting rid of the flags. So yeah, I'm telling you, you got to find humor. If I don't have laughter in my day, it's not a good day. Yeah. That's why I'm grateful for Coach, because he gives me 2 reasons to laugh every day, one with him and one at him. You know, it just goes on and on.
It's awesome. Awesome. All right. So something else we were talking about just via text is kind of where the world is right now, right? And that I think you said there's a vacuum. And I think in a lot of areas we're feeling that. There's a vacuum of leadership. And we went back and forth, and I shared with you, I believe it's all of our responsibilities to step into whatever space we can to fill that vacuum. Mm-hmm. What are you seeing happening in Kansas City?
Well, interesting things, and that's a great question. And this is happening around the country, I'm sure, but you know, one of our guys, I mean, his kids, he's in his 70s, one of our agents, I mean, his kids said, you will not leave the home, period. We are bringing you groceries, we're doing everything. And he would do his postings on a daily basis. So one of our other guys, an ASC member, actually said, we got to do something about it. It sounds like Ron's in a low space. So he organized a car honking drive-through. And so there were 40 cars honking through this neighborhood. And it was just the most fun. In fact, we're doing it for a birthday, someone's birthday soon. And actually we Zoomed for Coach's birthday, but nonetheless, the neighbors, the kids, everybody was out. It was such a joy bringer to the whole neighborhood. This older lady yelled at me. We were in our convertible and she said, thank you. So, and we're seeing restaurants, you know, providing food for services. The one thing that I'm enjoying, it really didn't start here, but it was RVs for MDs so that they don't have to go to their home.
Yeah.
And people are donating RVs for MDs to use during this time. Yeah.
Where are they putting them? That would be a challenge here in San Diego.
You know, I have no idea, but I love the heart of that. And of course, we have people making masks out the wazoo. And I'm trying to find my sewing machine that I haven't looked at in probably 40 years so I can donate it, you know. I don't sew anymore, but there's just a couple of things, but it's so gratifying. And actually, if y'all watch that show that the Jimmys and Stephen Colbert did the other night,
the concert,
we're all together. Yeah, that one. The guy from KU that was on that show was actually my doctor when I was in the hospital with the infection after the cancer. He's a really good guy. I was really proud of him.
How are your agents doing, and how are the market centers doing?
You know, I will tell you that our business here, I mean, it was our best March ever. Of course, now thinking about it, you know, a lot of March was not COVID March.
Right.
And we'll be down a little bit this month, but our inventory is at such a low thing that we're getting huge multiple offers. And if you didn't know there was COVID in our business, although we've adjusted obviously with showing and whatnot, you wouldn't really realize that there was. And so as national people are suggesting, we're doing the same thing. We're preparing listings to come on as soon as the major hit's over. You know, like I'm still on the streets, if you will. I have 3 buyers that just said, you know,
I did not know this. You're still working out?
Every chance I get. I told my guys that, well, first of all, I told Coach, I said, my happy place is with people. It's my happy place. Yeah. And so he's acquiescing. I don't want to be retired. So I have 3 buyers that are waiting till after this is over. And, you know, quite frankly, I'm okay waiting. So we're doing, you know, text conversations. We send them, you know, whatever. Anyway, yes, I'm still on it.
Wow.
Not
I
full
didn't
blown.
know that.
Yeah.
It does make sense, though. You are definitely, you get your energy from people.
Yeah, totally.
Um, yeah, as I do. And so how I know when I've had my breakdowns around this, it's been twofold. One, having some fear, trepidation around the actual business, and you know, what do we do in an extended period of time where closings are off by 50%? But primarily just the social isolation. I didn't realize, and I know some of our agents, they know my look in the office, you know, those days when you have busy and you give them the look like, don't get close.
Yeah.
And I thought, I never want to give that look again, ever.
No, welcoming. Yeah, I hear you.
But, and I, even just in passing, to have passed 20 or 30 people a day, I got energy from. So how are you coping with that?
Well, how am I coping with that? I think I'm having a lot of self-conversations. You know, the first few weeks, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And I decided I wasn't depressed. I had that conversation. Being an only child, as you know, we have conversations with ourselves.
We're very good at it. Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a three-way conversation.
Yeah. Oh, that's scary. Him, her, and them. I decided I was just sad. I was sad what's happening to our country. And then I'm thinking, nature doesn't have a clue. It's just going right on blooming. It's coming out. You know, nature is clueless. And then I saw the picture of our daughter-in-law sent it with Los Angeles, how the skies are clear now.
Clear. Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, God, you're taking something so horrible and creating beauty for us to observe. And what I see happening is just amazing. And another thing, I'm so grateful, and I do speak gratitudes out loud in my brain all the time, that we're an essential. We are essential. And isn't that a great affirmation? Yep. We are essential. I am essential. And hold on to that. So I think that's it. That going to the grocery store, I love that because I see people.
It's amazing.
We took, you know, Kim to the doctor yesterday, and it was one of his former students who's also a past client. I just wanted to embrace him, and we looked at each other and went like that, for rump.
Wave.
Yeah.
Mark had said when he was on, you know, the whole, we're gonna not hug as much and not shake hands as much and pretty much BS. I can't not live not hugging.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we're designed for that. Yeah. I mean, we are so wonderfully made.
We know that, right? Babies die if they don't have physical touch.
Yeah, exactly.
We may not die like physically, but there's certainly,
yeah.
doesn't feel so good. All right. So what's next? What do you have on your goal sheet at this point?
You know, well, as Ann mentioned earlier, a granddaughter's getting married in June. And of course, the Fab Five are just where my excitement just grows. You know, we give our grandkids books, and we'll say, you pay you $100 when you read this book and you call me and have a conversation around it. So I had an hour-long conversation with one grandson over the one thing the other day. He's also read MREA and MREI. And is
he the one you sent me the video of?
No, that's another one. That's another one who's now in commercial real estate and is a cold call demon. As I said to Dave today, I'm amazed because his father and his uncle and his grandmother are not cold call demons, and he's digging it. Anyway, no, and so he's been on, yeah, y'all can go to Griffin Johns, and has a Facebook Live every day now. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of it. That's the world. I would like to do some more traveling.
Anywhere particular?
Well, Coach is getting his back fixed, so I think he's going to be walkable. But I always thought it'd be cool to see the 7 wonders of the world. I would love to see Yanni performing Greece.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Greece is my favorite country. I've been twice, and it
really
feels like home. So one place on the planet that feels like home.
Isn't that cool? I wonder why.
I don't know. I know the first time I got off the plane there, I dropped to my knees. It was an absolute peak experience, and I wasn't expecting it.
Oh my goodness. That's interesting.
Yeah, I actually have one of little owl behind me from Athens. Just to remind me. I'm going back. I don't know when, but I'm going back.
I love owls. That's cool.
Okay, so what else on the goal sheet? Some more travel. I'm assuming you set goals. You're still in production. You've got the market centers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what I do like to do is I like to go to the different market centers and.
How many do you have now?
Oh gosh, I want to say 7. We have our main.
When there's a point at which you just lose count that high.
Well, the guys take care of all that tracking, but I know we have ownership in different ones, and we're so blessed. And one of them recently, has reached a point where they can spring foot out on their own, and they invited us originally just because they wanted our voice, our experience, and so on, which was very honoring. And
after what you shared with opening, right, and thinking, oh, this will happen in 6 months, and then taking 3 years, and that was, I think you said 2002. Then you probably had a nice run, and then 2007, 8, 9 hit. What was that like?
Yeah, that was another little speed bump. I don't call them pits or anything like that. I just call them speed bumps, because on a speed bump you go up and over and then straight ahead. I like that better. Yeah, that was challenging, and we managed, and our agents were awesome. And that's actually when we brought on our awesomeness broker. And also during that time, we were in between team leaders. And so that was my journey. Seems like Bolds was starting then too. Bolds always been a boost.
Yeah, Diana wrote it in 2009. So
that's always been a boost. Yeah. So another goal is our basement, and kind of
cleaning it.
Yeah, decluttering. I promised our kids before I leave this world, I'm going to have that done so they don't have to.
Can you talk to my mom?
Yeah, right. Oh my, yeah. No,
have you started? We've been home for a month now. Have you started on that little project?
Well, we've lived in this home 32 years, so yeah, I've started.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We are not your typical. In fact, we bought this with the idea of watching it appreciate and then leave in 3 years and move on, but we like it. We like it. It's forever home.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Annie just said, because you saw my mom's. Yeah, her mom's house was something else.
Steve jumped on too. So both boys are here. Boys, tell me something embarrassing about your mom.
I can tell you
they're too afraid to.
There is one that jumps to mind.
Hey, Dave.
One jumps to mind is where she said, this is actually embarrassing / mean of her. It was, try this drink. And we're thinking it was like lemonade. And it was squeezed cabbage juice.
Oh.
I don't know what she had been to, what class, where squeezed cabbage juice was something healthy. But it was brutal. So I guess that'd be embarrassing / just mean. Steve, do you have any good ones?
I have many, yet I cannot share at this time.
I know. I filtered a quick 12 stories.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh, you rascals! You rascals.
Let's just put it this way: fire ready aim is very much in Mama Jude's repertoire. Filter is low, and so. Yeah, there's many things that I don't think embarrass her, yet might embarrass Dave and I a few times.
Embarrass the kids, though. I think that's part of the fun of being a parent.
Yeah, I don't think my mom. I don't think she embarrasses easily.
She's never met broad shoulders that she hasn't gone up and rubbed. So that's always wonderful. So if you're at reunion and you have broad shoulders, beware. She's going to come grab them.
No, I complimented a stranger the other day on his shoulders. I thought, I've been watching your shoulders. They're really nice. No, my guys have 2 hashtags for me. #weepy and #unfiltered. They just have no idea how much I filter.
Well, that's what we were texting last night. It wasn't so much about filter, but you said sometimes you're honest to a fault.
Yeah,
And
that too.
yeah, I like that. Then at least you know where you always stand, right? You need that one honest friend who's always going to tell you what's what.
And the thing is, and they know this, in fact, this just happened the other day, don't mess with my peeps. Now that's just not only my sons, my third sons, but everybody that I love dearly, don't mess with them. That's when the bear claws come out. You're probably that way.
We are very alike, Judy. I am proud to say we are very alike.
I wouldn't mind being like you. You're cool.
No, you're so sweet. I get most people either think I'm intimidating or they think I'm a pushover. It's usually the two extremes. And in the last couple of years, I've had some business situations where they thought I would just fold and were very surprised at what they got back.
Yeah.
I'm just kind. I'm going to take a stand, but I'm going to be kind about it.
Yes, I agree.
The same way. And like I said last night, as long as you are honest with a smile,
Right.
right?
Right.
Most people can take it.
Oh, that's cute.
All
I have
right.
a quick cool story. I have a quick, not embarrassing story.
Okay.
That when Steve and I we had just moved into a new home in 1975. So like I was 9 and Steve was 7. So we might've been 10 and 8 when this happened. And she gave us $10. And that was enough to buy 80 cans of Shasta.
You know
And
your
so
numbers.
So we were a
Yeah.
new home subdivision. Yeah, it was 8 per dollar. And so it's 12.5 cents a can. And then we would go out every mid-morning around 10 and every afternoon around 3 and sell the Shasta to the workers, to the construction guys for a quarter a piece. So we made double our money. Well, when we first came back and had, sold 80 cans and had doubled the money, Steve and I were of the business acumen that, sweet, it's all profit. And then we started learning that it's a profit and loss statement. There's an income statement involved here, and now we have to go reinvest to create more revenue. So we did that all summer long, and we actually, at the end of the summer, were able to both buy, like I bought a 10-speed and he bought some kind of dirt bike with just the money that we went from every day doing sales.
What a great lesson at 9
10
years
and
old.
8-year-olds or 11 and 9-year-olds, whatever we were. We laugh today thinking that one of us as a parents would turn loose our 10 and an 8-year-old to just go randomly walk a subdivision. However, we always go back to that lesson of reinvesting, looking at, the expense of things and being able to double our money on every single can. It was pretty cool.
And she also helped us expand our product line by saying, why don't you guys also invest in very heavily salted peanuts, sell the peanuts in the morning, and then they're a lot more thirsty in the afternoon. They'll buy more. So,
Oh yeah.
Savvy businesswoman.
we sold peanuts as well. Very salty ones.
But you guys had a goal. Your goal was, Mom, we really like to have a bicycle. Well, how are we going to do it? And that's how we did it. Isn't that fun? I'd forgotten about that. That was fun.
Judy, I knew you before I got to know the boys. I got to know the boys pretty well, I think, at Red Relief when we were in Houston mucking out houses. And I do think for people who have kids, you can really tell the quality of a human by the kids that they produce. And you've got 2 incredible boys.
Oh, thank you.
I told my office meeting yesterday, the agents that showed up for our office meeting, about the experience of working with them in, what was the name of the town? Was it Katy?
Lazy River or Lazy something?
Lazy River.
Lazy River. But we've got people on here who weren't on that office meeting. Would either of you or both of you tag team on that story? Because that was a pretty impactful life experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was such a great day, and you were our MAPS leader for the bus. So you're giving us inspiration and giving us different coaching on the way there, and I just remember that day we mucked that house and we got to the end of it, and everything we had done the whole day was amazing. And then right at the end, we opened up the floor, and it was a mobile home, and it had like a honeycomb underneath. And as soon as we opened it up, the whole honeycomb flooring was completely full of water. In other words, everything we had done that day was just for nothing, because the whole floor had to be ripped out, which meant the whole mobile home was just done. And we could just see the guys, the homeowners, just the whole body just shook to the ground. And I remember we got back on that bus on the way home, and it was, I think I just received a text or something where a sale that I thought was never going to sell, I got an offer on it. And so I immediately just kind of went up to the front and said, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to take the $5,000 from that commission that wasn't planning on getting and just donate it. Let's raise money to fund a new place for this family we just worked on all day. And then Ashley, you jumped in with, auctioning off your time, and Steve did the same. And it was just, the bus just kind of took over, and we raised, I think we ended up raising over $20,000 just on that bus ride. And then a year later, it was just 6 months later, in spring break, our family made sure we drove through there and went to check on him. And he already had the funds, and they had already started rebuilding. And it was just, we're from Kansas City, so he went to make sure that he spent all of his money on getting us some great Texas barbecue. And it was just kind of cool to be, 6-7 months later. So it wasn't just that, one day pop in, hey, here's 6 hours of my life. Glad to meet you. See you later. Was able to go back through and meet with them and see how they are.
And change. You talk about changing somebody's life. That place was poor. I grew up poor, really poor, not that poor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, he could have won the lottery. That's basically what he did for him. Yeah.
It's great. It's great you brought that up. I was walking this morning and I just was thinking about, I wonder how they're doing. I was going to text them. So now I will text them for sure. Because I had that thought and I didn't do it.
Ezekiel. Dallas Cowboys.
That's right. Ezekiel. That's right.
All right, Judy, what else do you want to share with us, dear?
Well, just a couple of thoughts. Number one, we are told that we can be renewed by the transforming of our mind. So, and that's in the good book in Romans. So I think that's a real good lesson for us to remember. Also, we're also told, give thanks in all circumstances. So whatever circumstance we're in, there's always a way out, and there's always something to be grateful for. Like we were talking earlier, my hair is driving me crazy. No, I'm grateful I have hair. I'm grateful it's healthy and growing. My nails are growing long. I look like I have a different kind of manicure. I mean, it's just, you just kind of find fun things to be grateful for. We're told to think on things that are pure and honest and fruitful. And so that's it. My encouragement would be, and I laugh because I know that's one of my gifts, but when I talk to people, I always say, are you best being challenged? Or are you best being encouraged? There's kind of two different kind of people that way. So if I were to encourage or challenge anyone right now, I would say, choose hope, choose love, and choose gratitude. I think that's what makes things spin in a good way. And then if I could say something else, I would, which obviously I am, I would just ask a blessing, just a huge blessing on everybody who's on this call or who may be hearing it later, for peace in your heart. I'm asking for just a hedge of protection around your heart, around your home, around your family, around those that you love, and around our country, just a hedge of protection so that the bad stuff doesn't get in and that we're just kept safe and pure. And that we a hedge around our finances and our business and our customers, just a hedge of protection, and that we choose hope and love. Yeah, that's my blessing over y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to check the chat box. I don't know if there's any questions in there. There's been some stuff going. It's the one multitasking I haven't been doing well. Keeping up with that.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm so honored at the people who chose to be on here, seriously. Because like I said, sandwiched in between all these great people, it was very humbling for me.
You are exactly where you belong, hon.
Oh, thank you, love.
When you think, I don't say that lightly, when you think of the matriarchs in Keller Williams, you are probably one of the top three. I would say you, Mary Harker, and Mo, for the amount of time and what you've been able to accomplish. I don't think anybody could argue that.
Well, I always give credence when everybody says something to me, and my guys know this. I say, oh, no, it's our whole family. It's our whole family, because Dave and Steve have been power horses, and with each of their own. Dave is like the Rain Man. Steve, we call him the CPO.
I'm going to call him Rain Man now.
Yeah. And Mike Bastion, I call the brilliant mind, put them in. And Steve is our chief presentation officer, because when I say, well, I want to just say, rah, 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 Mom, sit back. Let's think how you're going to say this, Yeah, love them both. Admire them both. I'm proud to be in business with them as well.
And I do too. Your mom's been to our market center. Mom and dad both have been. So you guys have to come out to San Diego. And Steve, I know we've shared some humorous times and, some pinching stories. Yeah. You would fit right at home in our market center.
Yeah.
Your market center's cool. It has that funky flavor to it, which I love.
You are definitely my sister from another mister.
Too much fun. All right. Any questions? I'm going to send you these comments because there's some really good ones in there. I can't read them all. Oh, okay. Here's one from Peggy Elliott. Do you ever have to rein? Oh, great question. Do you ever have to rein in your generosity?
Oh, wow. Well, that's probably a better question for Steve. Steve is the biggest giver I've ever met. I would say no. And this is, you get the.
Let me add to it, because I know even if you wanted to rein it in, I don't think you could. And it's not always financial contribution, right? And you all, this entire family is hugely generous. Do you ever get taken advantage of?
Once, and then never again. And, there's the phone calls you get to hang up on. But I was saying, like when I get requests, this is just for contributions in the mail. And some days we get 17, which just drives me insane. No, I'm grateful that they thought of me to send this to. But I hold it in my hand and I say, Holy Spirit, is this something we should do? And maybe 1 out of every 50, I respond to that way. But my heart is generous. It's generous. It overflows with love. And I always want to come from a place of love, because who is love? God is love. And I'm here to be his vessel of love. That's how I view life.
So Dave, she said you're the most generous person. You ever got to rein it in?
No, that's Steve. Steve's the most generous person.
Really?
Dave is too.
I have streaks on buses in Texas where I am become the most generous, and outside of that, Steve wins.
I would say, yes, I've had to create a filter of generosity. It kind of reminds me of I am always the first to be willing to give on a commission, right? And yet when I'm asked, typically no.
Exactly.
I want to be the one that gives, and
because
so,
you want to.
And when I'm just because I want to, just because. And actually, when I'm not asked, it tends on, I tend to want to give more. And so I think if that were how I sometimes have to rein it in, I think it just happens because of someone coming up and asking. And I agree with my mom in regards to, it's a spiritual thing for me. I mean, I give it to God and say, is this the right thing? And I mean, it comes back tenfold. We've heard a guy in our office, Brian Huff. He talks about you give a few slices, it comes back in loaves.
Yeah, I love that.
And I did pick up on that just this week. He said that on a few calls. So yes, love to give.
Awesome.
Love to give.
Awesome. Well, I had some conversation yesterday with a couple friends, and we're taking bets on whether or not we're going to have mega camp. I don't think we will, which saddens me only because I won't be able to see you guys physically. But I look forward to the next time. And we're saving up some big hugs. They're going to be very awkward, long, especially for you, Steve.
I got a lot for you. It'll be
You got some saved up.
It'll be a long, awkward hug.
You know, going back to what Steve said about not liking to give commission when you're asked, here's the deal. There's a teenager that still lives in all of us. And we get pushed. I'm saying this collectively, assuming that everybody here agrees. We get pushed when we get you messages. That just always brings up my teenager.
I say that all the time. I honestly think there's a large part of each of us that never grows back past that 15-year-old insecure kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's okay.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, it's okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, do we have any other questions that want to pop in? We are at 11:47 our time. Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
Oh, honey, this has been so fun. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you here tomorrow and every day past that.
Yeah.
We have not announced who we have next week, but it's going to be a powerful week again. So
very cool. You know, it's neat that you have enough relationships that you can just call and say, hey, will you? And
it's surreal at some point. You know, I've been around a long time, not as long as the early 2000s, but the mid 2000s. And it's a testament to how accessible everybody is in this company. And I fought it for years. I mean, I remember wanting to be invisible the first 4 years I was in the company, just not believing that I belonged in the rooms. And I still fight that sometimes. And yet,
listen to me. You belong. You are worthy. You are the best. In fact, people were popping up and saying, you are the best.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I've never met anybody in this company who wasn't accessible in leadership positions.
Yeah.
It's been incredible. It's been incredible.
We're
and
blessed.
Continues to be.
We're so blessed.
Yes, we are. All right, everybody. See you back here, same time tomorrow. Love you bunches. Everybody's doing the wave. All right.
That's how the deaf applaud.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Hopefully, is the weather decent? Are you guys having decent weather?
Sun's coming out.
Okay. Well,
Today.
I'll go out and enjoy some of this for you.
Yeah. We love you.
Love you too. Love you too. Tell Coach hi.
I will do that. Take care. Love everybody.